Play ball. Hot off the press, handicappers from WagerTalk, Sports Memo, and the Gold Sheet have collaborated on the 2023 WagerTalk Media MLB Betting Guide. From World Series odds to regular season win totals and everything in between, this year's betting guide features previews on all 30 teams, all 6 divisions, and season-long awards like the Cy Young, MVP, and Rookie of the Year. Each preview contains key roster acquisitions and departures to help you get up to speed before opening day. Visit wt.buzz/MLB23 to download your free guide, and we'll see you in the batter's box.
Hey guys, welcome in and a very happy Friday to you as the madness continues here, not just in college basketball, but the NBA delivering their own sort of madness, like who's playing for the Mavericks tonight? We'll see if we can dive into any of that here, and the three guys, actually three of the best to help us figure it all out tonight. Joining us here on the Friday NBA Tip-Off Show as the prop god Andy Lang in the house, as is Double R1L Steve Merrill. And it's a good thing Merrill's here because Vino has been asking for your math, and he knows he's going to get it here today as Rob Vino back in the saddle again. Gentlemen, happy Friday as we sift through the madness here today in college hoops. Let's not forget opportunities presenting themselves in the association tonight. And Andy, in addition to the women's college basketball tournament we were just chatting about off air, there's a very big darts tournament I believe you've also got play. So listen, there is a little something for everyone, Andy, here. What's locked and loaded for us?
Well, March Madness, it's time for golf and darts and Formula One. It's the best time of year, really. So I know everybody's really up to speed. Yeah, selling a lot of those 3-day passes with no men's college basketball. So, no, I mean, hey, listen, profits are profits, and units are units.
Amen.
5% UFC play is up for tomorrow, and that is a London card that starts at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're going to put your UFC bets in, make sure you get them in before the afternoon. We've got a few NBA plays up today, and we'll go over NBA today. But really, just hoping everybody has a great St. Patrick's Day. Hope everyone's cashing all of their men's NCAA tickets. I know that's where all the action is going. But hey, NBA, the units and money still spends the same.
I was going to say the money is still green, and it don't make a damn bit of difference what it is. Winner is a winner, and if you got them, that's what it's all about. And we're listen, it's an intriguing card here tonight in the association. Merrill, you had talked about your dabbling in March Madness here, but anything in the association caught your interest tonight?
Yeah, it's a huge Friday on St. Patrick's Day. By the way, Andy Lang does have some green light in the background, so he gets a pass. Joe's got a green screen, so I can't pick on him for not wearing green. But Rob Vino, come on, man. I expected better from you. I know Rob gets very disappointed when I'm disappointed in him, so we'll see if he quickly does a costume change during the show. But no green, so I'm doing a virtual pinch for Rob Vino. But yeah, it's a huge night to make some green on St. Patrick's Day. 4 college basketball best bets still available for Friday night, so you haven't missed out. You're joining us mid-afternoon or even this evening getting ready for some NBA action, check out those college basketball best bets on my page and go there as well for a bonus free NBA play. We cashed with the Magic last night. I've got another free play up there in the NBA tonight on Friday. 4 college hoops, NBA free play. Also, Fade the Public video for Friday NCAA is available. I'm going to do a Saturday and Sunday video as well, plus Wager Talk last call this Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. So check out this weekend Wager Talk TV for a ton of info and get some best bets along the way.
Yeah, a lot going on here this weekend, Vino, and I know you as well there. March Madness, highlight. You got a little everything working here, XFL. How about the association tonight? What'd you get locked and loaded for us?
Yeah, the NBA, Joe. We do have one up and available. That actually one of the games we're going to talk about here, so I'll do my best to skirt around. what the client play is. But yes, NBA obviously still going down the home stretch here, right? 15 or so games left, maybe less at this point, as they're all jockeying for playoff seeding. And to your point earlier, who's playing for the Mavericks? Who's really playing for anybody at this point in time? Every single night with the injury list is different. And I'll just close by saying there is nothing worse than having Steve Merrill disappointed in me. That really, I'll have to pick up my game here. But I will say this: while there's no green in my background or in my shirt, there's a green pen here. But the corned beef and cabbage for St. Patrick's Day is probably I don't know 600-700 square feet away down a hall and into a kitchen.
Yes.
So yeah, we got it working.
Yeah,
No longer disappointed in Rob Vino. God, he makes up so fast.
Sexier than a pot of cabbage boiling throughout that house. Outstanding. All right, let's get it going here, if we can, with a contrarian play of the day. Everyone's sitting around looking at one another. Was that you? Let's see what the contrarian gods got rolling here today. And, well, of course, because Dallas and the Lakers are going to be playing tonight. Dallas, though, intriguingly enough, has seen a little bit of love here today. Still trying to figure out if Kyrie is going. Still trying to figure out if Hardaway Jr. is going. I am guessing, though, from this number, the contrarian gods are thinking one, if not both, may be going, taking on the Lakers here tonight. And everyone loves the Lakers in the market, Andy. Not the contrarian gods here. Anybody in particular you might be looking at in this matchup?
I can't believe that it's not working out like Dallas thought it would with Kyrie. I can't. I
Good point.
Can't believe it that this is. I don't know. I don't know. I kind of laugh at this. Like, why is everybody questionable? What are you saving everyone for? You're like 2 games outside. Like you're like 2 games away from missing the play-in game, and everyone's questionable. Like, what's the question? I don't know. I don't know with Mavericks, but we'll take a look at a prop here, and we'll take an under on rebounds and assists with Dennis Schroeder. I'm taking him under 6.5, and this is all about what happened when D'Angelo Russell came back and got inserted in the starting lineup. Schroeder went right back to the bench. You saw a huge drop in his minutes, points, rebounds, assists. He has gone way under in his rebounds and assists the last 3 games. I was looking at doing points, rebounds, and assists, but got to give him credit. He had 16 points last game, got to the free throw line 12 times, made 10 of them. So I'm going to take away the points because he still can't do that against a – I mean, let's face it, this Dallas perimeter is terrible with Luka and Kyrie in the lineup. So I imagine they're not going to be that good with him out of the lineup. So his rebounds and assists last 3 games, 2, 5, and 2. I'm going to take him under 6.5. I think that's a pretty good value tonight.
All right, love it. How about you, Merrill, though? Which one of these do you agree with the contrarian gods here? And if Kyrie and or Hardaway Jr. are going here tonight, does that help in your decision?
Yeah, I think Friday is usually a pretty good night to look at contrarian plays in the NBA. It's usually a little bit more of a public night, but I think you can make a case that this is the least public Friday of the year in the NBA because most of the recreational bettors at least are focusing, of course, on college basketball and March Madness. So it'll be interesting to see how this game plays out. Andy's point, we all knew that the Kyrie situation would not turn out well at some point. We thought maybe they'd get through the first month without issues, but obviously Luka being out right now is not helping the matters. Lakers are an interesting team. Everyone kind of written them off for dead, but they're just 2 games below 500, and the Mavs are 500. So, everyone thought Dallas would pull away. They were top 4 or 5 favored after the trade. Lakers weren't even favored to make the playoffs anymore. Really 2 teams heading in opposite directions, but you do wonder if LA started to cool off a bit, losing 2 out of 3, both straight up in ATS. Dallas, meanwhile, is coming off the win against the Spurs, who are probably the worst team in the NBA right now, so you can't read too much into that. Tough call here as far as the line movement. Open 5, 4.5 pretty much across the board. Some of the sharper books I respect offshore are 4.5 minus, even a 5 out there still. So I do think the Lakers are probably the sharp side. And once again, if I'm going to fade the contrarian gods, I think this is the one Friday of the season where it might work.
All right. Well, it's the Lakers, we rewind the clock here, Vino. We would have been laughing at the Lakers here in this spot, but they are a favorite. but the contrarian gods aren't necessarily buying it here. How about you? You back in the Lakers, or is it Dallas for you?
Well, it's still unknown if we're going to get Kyrie, right? I think we're going to get Tim Hardaway Jr. I think you're likely to get Kyrie here. It's Luka that they probably won't be on the floor, although all three did practice yesterday, and a couple of them went through shoot around earlier. So we'll see. Luka's injury has to be pretty bad for him to not be playing these last few games. That's for sure. But if they do have Kyrie in there, it was a close game just about a couple of weeks ago. Joe, 114-111. Lakers pulled it out in Dallas. I think you could get a close game here. The Lakers are playing better at this point in time, especially against the spread. But to the point that was made about Dallas being a 500 team, there's only 2.5 games, I believe, that separate like 5 through 11 in the West. So even though these teams are stumbling a little bit, any given night, your playoff seeding could change in an instant. So I think you get effort out of both sides. If you get said effort out of both sides, I think they match up pretty well. I would probably look towards Dallas plus the 4.5 here. Defensively, they've been a wreck, especially at the rim. So to the point of props in this game, Anthony Davis has to be worth a look where his rebounds are concerned, or points and rebounds, because Dallas just doesn't have any rim protection whatsoever. But I do think if you get Kyrie in here, you probably get a close game. So I would lean plus 4.5 if Kyrie's in the lineup.
Okay, good stuff there. All right, well, let's wait and see here. The contrarian gods are jumping on it, though. They'll take the 4.5 tonight with the Dallas Mavericks at home taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. All right, pretty good featured matchup here tonight. One in which, well, it's interesting because you've got this Celtics team here now taking on the Portland Trail Blazers. Lillard is probable. Grant is questionable. It looks like Tatum maybe a no-go here in this one. 6 is the number. 234, I believe, is the total in this one. If he doesn't go, it's an intriguing prop game too, as well. Andy, anybody in particular you're looking at in this one?
Yeah, I'm looking right now, and they do have props for Jason Tatum, which is a pretty good sign that he's probably going to play. The books are pretty good when they have props up. They have pretty good information that they may play. That being said, Tatum's been struggling just a little bit with this shooting, so I might be a little bit careful with that one. I gotta tell you, I really wanted to fade Marcus Smart. He's been a really good fade on points, rebounds, and assists, and he tweaked his ankle again. He just doesn't look right. But I get nervous when the books make a pretty aggressive adjustment, and they did that. He was at 20.5 or 21.5 on his PRA. They lowered it to 18.5. That's a big move in my opinion. I still think it's worth a little bit look on the under, but I tell you who I do really like on the under, and that's Nurkic, under 22.5 PRA. He went over last game by the hook, but before that, he had gone under in 9 out of 10 games, including a 13 PRA performance against Boston on March 8th. He can play some really low minutes. If the Blazers get down and they want to go small, he sits on the bench for a majority of the game. If he gets into foul trouble, they sit him, and he ends up playing, less minutes. And even if he does play a full game, his full games now are like 25 minutes, maybe 26. So you're not getting a full minutes load out of Nurkic. If he gets in foul trouble or if they get down, look out. He's going to be playing very, very few minutes. So I like Nurkic under 22.5, but I wouldn't blame you if you went back to Marcus Smart under his PRA as well.
Not a bad way to approach it there. Merrill, how about you in this one? It's Tatum does look like if there's props for him, he's going to be a go. I worry, though, because I believe last time I've seen Lillard in this spot here, it was listed as probable. He didn't end up going, though, and screwed everyone. So it's kind of tough to figure out what you're going to get, but the market says 6. Is that enough for you?
Yeah, the 4:30 Eastern NBA injury report just came out 5 minutes ago, and Boston went from having 6 guys on the injury list now to 8 guys on the injury list. And Lillard is still probable now. Marcus Smart, Tatum, both questionable still for Boston, but a couple other guys popped on there. I believe Jaylen Brown available. He was on there already. I'm trying to figure out the other ones where Brogdon is probable. He was not on the list at 3:30 Eastern, so he's one of the guys they've added. So I'm not sure what to make of all that. Really no line move right now. Boston open -5. It's pretty much 6 across the board. Some of the sharp books are leaning slightly towards Portland now at +6. I would agree with that lean. Portland obviously has always been a little bit better over the years at home. They're 1 game up at home this year versus 8 games down on the road. But they're in bad current form, and that would be one thing that concerns you here. But then if you dig deeper, you realize that most recent loss was against New York after 6 road games. They finished with 3 losses on the road at Boston, Philly, and New Orleans, tough road games. Then they came back home, and that's always a tough spot, your first game back. So I think they played better here, and it is a recent revenge situation, as I mentioned, because they just lost 9 days ago at Boston on the road. So we don't use revenge a ton in the NBA. I really only use it kind of with Class A teams, but these are 2 playoff caliber teams, in my opinion. Obviously, Boston is a very good team. And the Celtics also have had distraction problems. And I know this firsthand because I've had a few games with them over the past month in which they've had monster leads, and they've ended up either not covering or even losing outright at times. And now after coming off a big win at Minnesota by just 2 points 2 nights ago, you do wonder if maybe they regress a little bit. And they also have an altitude game at Utah tomorrow, a no-rest travel situation. So I think there's some reasons to like Portland, especially at +6, because now we don't necessarily need them to win outright, although I think the Blazers are capable of winning this game outright. Might
Joe,
be
you
muted,
muted?
Joe.
Let me replay that there, Vino, and go one more time here. I was just commenting on all the defense we're probably getting from Portland tonight and was wondering if their defense has you thinking maybe total here with the Boston Celtics.
Now, how would you know to come to me with that thought, Joe? That's a beautiful setup here. Yeah, for all the talk that's gone on so far, the one thing that wasn't really mentioned, and maybe just because it's common knowledge amongst all of us who watch this NBA and follow it every night, is this Portland team is just playing horrendous defense at this point in time. Not that they've ever been a good defensive team, but they've been exceptionally poor as of late. It correlates to the return of Anthony Simons. I don't think that, he's the reason why all of a sudden they've given up 120, 127, and 123 in their last 3 games. But, they do tend to just be more of an offensive-laden team and try and outscore people. They're kind of defenseless. And with Jeremy Grant being in and out of the lineup over the course of the past couple of weeks at various times, it doesn't help. I don't know that they can stop Boston here. The only trepidation I would have with Boston team total over is the fact that they haven't played well offensively as of late. And with the injury list being what it is, who knows who's going to play. I'll say this, though. Somebody's playing in this game, Joe, because as of 2:45 Eastern time this afternoon, this total was 231.5. We're at 20-5 East now. A couple hours later, it's up to 234. That's a 2.5 point increase in the total. So somebody of note is playing in this game, whether it be Jason Tatum, whether it be, a definite Damian Lillard sighting, although I already assumed he was going to play. So my guess is you're going to have pretty complete lineups here, and you're going to have an up and down game. The game Steve was referencing that they played recently, 115-93, was without Simons, and when Lillard was having to carry the whole load on his shoulders, and they were in the midst of a deep road trip, so maybe a little fatigue out of Dame there. I think he had 27 that night. I think both sides score here. The 234 isn't really that scary when Portland's involved. Again, they've given up better than 50% from the field in 9 of their last 12, and I think it's 5 of their last 6. So Boston's a pretty good shooting team to begin with, even though they're on a bit of a cold streak right now. But to be allowing 50% every night just about, and then have the Celtics come in, to me that spells trouble defensively. I might look over in this game.
Shocker. Knew that's where you were going there, Vino. Over it is in that one. And speaking of over, we do have, of course, a total we want to focus in on. And this is kind of funny here, guys. How about a nice, and I don't think we've seen one open this kind of craziness, 247.5. currently 248, and I don't know anybody that wants to sweat out an under in this one. Or maybe we do here as Golden State on the road taking on the Atlanta Hawks. I find it fascinating, Andy, that they started at the 247 and a half mark. Probably a good chance, I think, this thing lands closer to 250, but is there anybody in particular with this kind of total we should be focusing in on?
Yeah, in this game, I mean, it just got hard to narrow it down. Like, oh, Clay should have a good game. Well, Steph should have a good game. Well, the Hawks should have a good game. So, you've got the Hawks, who are absolutely terrible on defense. You got the Warriors, whose road issues have been very, very well documented. So I'm looking at this Hawks team, second worst defensive team in the league the last 10 games. The only team that they've been better than is my Indiana Pacers, not saying a whole lot. They just gave up 136, 134 to Minnesota and Boston. So I'm not going to go with player props. I'm going to go with a team total. Give me the Warriors over 121.5 on their team total. These teams played earlier this season, and it went to double overtime, but Golden State scored 121 in regulation, but Steph did not play in that game. So they got to 121 without Steph in that one. He and Clay have been alternating who's been, red hot. So I just think a combination of bad defense from Atlanta, the sharpshooters from the Warriors, who seem to be playing really well now and shooting the ball really well. I'll just take the Warriors as a combo over 121.5 team total.
Love that. All right, good stuff. Team total, not a bad way to approach it. Merrill, we've talked a lot about totals like this. I don't quite recall one opening up this high. It's usually been bet up to here, but man, 247, 248 is where we started. What do you think is worth betting here? Is it still over or not for you in this one?
Yeah, if this had been 1 year, 2 years ago, Joe, we'd be like, well, these totals are high for a reason, right? And 70% of the time, these highest totals go over, but it's not 2 years ago. It's completely reversed. This is commonplace now to see 220s, 230s, but a 248 is pretty extreme. And Dwayne Bryan, who's on the show a lot, WagerTalk.com, has mentioned several times, if you just blindly play the under, I think it was at 5 or at least 6 games on the board. If you've blindly played under the biggest total this season, Dwayne said it's hit over 60% on the blind. That would obviously qualify in this game tonight. As you and I have said also for years, Joe, that you need a lot to go right for these totals to get there. Now, these two teams had a lot go right when they played earlier this year. What was it, 143, 141? Was that an overtime game? I don't recall offhand if it was. There was 123 points at the half, though. So obviously it was on a pace to be in the 240s already. I believe that was an OT, but I'll have to double check that. 49, 45% shooting, so nothing too crazy there. And what jumps out to me is they had a high-scoring game, 123 points in the first half, and they only shot 32 and 31% from three. They didn't even hit a season average from three, and the reason is combined for the game they made 30, but they attempted 94 of them. So, once again, if they're launching away from three, which they probably are, the over really is the only way to play it, but it's hard to say there's much value over 248.
Yeah, I mean, Vino, if we've said it once, we've said it 1,000 times here. So little has to go wrong in order for this thing to go right to the under. Not to mention, are we 100% sure Steph Curry's playing in this one here? A lot of questions for a high total. Are you still buying the over here?
Yeah, we are not sure that Steph Curry's going to play here, Joe. Which obviously in the prop market would immediately lead you to Klay Thompson or Jordan Poole, the two guys who seem to just get the ultimate green light whenever Steph is not on the floor. Think back to the 6 or 7 games when he wasn't playing just recently. And I think Klay Thompson had 11 or 12 threes in one game. Jordan Poole had 6 1/4 one night. So either one of those guys, prop-wise, if Steph isn't on the floor, is certainly capable of cashing a ticket for you. The 248 number, I can't get there, right? Golden State is 25-7 to the over on the road this year, which is insane to begin with, almost 75% to the over. But all those games only average 241. That's 7 points short of what the asking price is here. And Atlanta home games average 233.5. That's 15 points short. So full game doesn't interest me, but you can shorten it up a lot of ways here, Joe. First quarter, Golden State has been money in the bank for the majority of the year. Play them first quarter over. I think they're 41-28 to the over. So maybe you can look that way. I played this game already. I took Atlanta first half team total over 63. Just banking on Golden State's miserable defense, Atlanta's starting unit and their propensity to score. Atlanta's bench can score at this point in time. Atlanta's got a little bit of desperation in this game where playoff positioning is concerned. When you look at the standings here, they sit now just a half a game ahead of Toronto for a home spot in a play-in game. The last thing Atlanta wants to be is in the play-in and on the road. That's just not a good combination for them. So they need wins. Toronto's on their heels. Golden State has proven to us that they just can't win on the road. So until we see otherwise, you can't play them. And I just can't get to 248 as a full game total. So give me Hawks first half over 63. I think that's the safest way to go.
Yep, not a bad way to approach that here, guys. Certainly the total up and away here. We'll see if it reaches 250 before it's all said and done. But quite an interesting list of, shall we say, dogs here tonight. Let's take a look at what we got.
That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. And anybody got to say anything, you let me know. That's my dog.
All right, let's roll them out here as we're looking at Charlotte. Not enough points. Washington finds themselves in a dog spot there. We just talked Golden State, the total. Minnesota's a dog tonight, as is Houston, San Antonio, Portland, and, of course, Dallas. So some interesting dogs here on the card tonight. Andy, start us off. Give us one that might be barking for you here tonight.
Yeah, give me the Houston Rockets. Why not? I mean,
boom.
Yeah. What is this? What is this Pelicans team doing? 5.5 point. They've covered this number twice in their last 13 games, and both were against Portland. I mean, I don't know why Houston is winning 2 games in a row, but here we are. They just beat Boston and the Lakers for reasons only Houston knows. But I'm not gonna lay points with the New Orleans Pelicans. This team is just completely lost since the Zion injury, and it's just too many points. Maybe Houston decides to get back in the Wembanyama sweepstakes, but for me, this is just a rule. You don't lay 5.5 points with a bad team like the Pelicans. So yeah, give me the Rockets plus 5.5.
All right, Rockets it is, plus the 5.5. Market seems to agree with Andy there. But how about you, Merrill? Which one of these dogs might you be looking at here tonight?
Yeah, I'm glad Andy went first because I was debating between 2 dogs to use. We'd already talked Portland, so I was going to use someone different, and I was looking at Houston as well because I always like a chance to make our producer Robert happy. So since Andy used Houston, who I do agree with, by the way, I'll go with Portland. By the way, Houston won back-to-back games against the Spurs and then lost, don't forget, at home as a 6.5 point dog by 22 to Brooklyn the next game. So we'll see if they revert back tonight. But I do agree with Andy on Houston plus the 5.5. That's one of the few games tonight we've actually seen money coming on the dog. As we're doing this show live here, we're actually seeing some money coming on the Portland Trailblazers, so I'll use for this segment. It is down now to 5.5 in some spots after the injury report came out. I think Portland is a live dog tonight. I also think there's enough wiggle room here where they don't necessarily have to win the game outright. So I would split half on the money line, half on the plus 5.5 to plus 6 with Portland. But it is a better spot for them than it was against the Knicks a couple nights ago, 2.5 nights ago, actually on Tuesday when they lost outright by 16. But keep in mind, they were coming off a 6-game Eastern road trip over the previous week and a half. That's always a bad spot for teams. So I think they'll play better tonight. And it's also a quick revenge situation after losing at Boston during that Eastern Coast road trip 9 days ago. And they couldn't have played any worse. They shot 37% from the field, just 28% from 3. Look for them to play better tonight and to stay within this plus 6 Portland Trailblazers.
All right. Love it. Portland getting, you're right, getting some love here in the marketplace. Interesting. Vino, how about you, man? What are you thinking here? Which dog might be barking for you tonight?
Well, I'll take a shot at the game that might be the most hotly contested tonight, Joe. That'd be Minnesota at Chicago, two teams that are chasing still playoff dreams. You know, Anthony Edwards has said time and time again the Timberwolves have no interest in the lottery. They're all in on the playoffs, so at least I know I'm getting big effort out of them. And their point spread record indicates that as of late. The Bulls, since Patrick Beverley got there to kind of give them a little kick in the rear end, have played somewhat better, but their point spread results over the last 6 or 7 don't indicate them playing that much better. Minnesota on the road this year as a road dog, 22-14. So you got a 60% road dog here, getting a couple points with a 35-35 record, chasing a better playoff spot. We just talked about how jammed up it is in the West. A win can go a long way. Chicago has that same focus in my mind. I just prefer to take the points here. Minnesota scored 150 on these guys in their earlier meeting, 150 to 126. Some different people in these uniforms now, but the main cast of characters are the same. So I'm going to look towards the Timberwolves to get this win. I know Chicago had a tough break the other night when De'Aaron Fox stuck that 3 at the end of the game to beat them 117-114. But I think Minnesota can come in and win this game.
All right, like in Minnesota to get it done. I think Caruso still questionable in this game for Chicago as well. So there you go. We got some dogs. We got some contrarian gods. And now it is time for some best bets. Let's see what we got. All right, well, we got a 60 seconds on the clock. You guys can do whatever you want. We know Merrill's going to do math. So, Andy, we're going to start with you here. I know there's a best bet somewhere in here for us. Talk to us. Where are you going here tonight?
I was getting ready to tell the drop that it was muted there for a second. You're muted,
Yes.
drop. You're muted. So, yeah, we got a few NBA best bets up. I would say the 5% UFC play that we have up for tomorrow is the play I'm most excited, what I would recommend the most. 6-0 in 4 and 5% best bets so far in 2023 in UFC. So we're really seeing the sport well, especially with those best ones. I'll make this one pretty quick. I'm going to take Terry Rozier over 9.5 rebounds plus assists. Bodies are getting a little bit low there on Charlotte. He's had 12, 10, 14, 15, and 12 the last 5 games. He just plays a ton of minutes, and he's blowout proof. He plays no matter what the score is, which is good because they're playing the 76ers, and it's probably going to be a blowout. It's one reason why I'm nervous about taking player props on Philly. I think they may be sitting a lot in the fourth quarter, but not Rozier. He should stack up the rebounds and assists against a bad perimeter defense. Give me Rozier over rebounds and assists.
Rozier up and over there. Good stuff in that one there, Andy. And again, guys, still time for you to hop on board with these weekend passes as well. Andy, Steve, or Rob, those 3-day, 7-day, 30-day all-access packages. Guys, get every play. Don't have to worry about it, including everything that is loaded here for tonight. Merrill, come on, man. The card. I know you got something here for us on the show for a best bet. Tell us where you're looking.
Yeah, it's a huge Friday night in basketball. I'm going to get to a free NBA play in just a moment, but a quick reminder, I do have 4 strong college tournament best bets still going on late afternoon nighttime cards. With 4 nighttime games here, if you're joining us this evening on Friday, you haven't missed out. A 4-for-1 college basketball special for Friday. Also, check out Saturday and Sunday here on WagerTalk TV. I'll have some more Fade the Public videos for the round of 32, both Saturday and Sunday. Also, last call Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern. I'll be on with Megan Payton talking more March Madness. But let's get to a free NBA play for tonight. Going to look at the Cleveland Cavaliers -5 at 7 o'clock Eastern Friday. In honor of my namesake, Sam Merrill, misspelled 2 R's, 2 L's, but the Cavs signed that Utah State shooting guard to an extension contract from the G League, so he'll be the 15th man the rest of the season. So I'm going to back the Cavs in honor tonight, but also like the Cavs because they're coming off a loss to Philly. They'll be extra focused, and they've owned the Wizards this year. just beat them by 23 on the road and beat them by 10 at home earlier. The dominance continues with the Cleveland Cavaliers -5 tonight on Friday.
Boom! Getting it done in Cleveland. Good stuff there. And Vino, come on, man. Let's sweep the board here tonight. Which one you looking at for us?
Yeah, I want to go back to where we started, Joe, the Lakers in Dallas. I'm not going to play the game, but I think the Anthony Davis prop points and rebounds has to be played here. It's 40.5. And I think his points and assists, the games that he's played lately when he's been on the floor, he's been piling up some huge numbers. And against, one more time, I mean, I basically am a broken record when I come on this show talking about Dallas's lack of protection at the rim, but it's just the way it is. I mean, Anthony Davis has played one time against the Mavericks all season long. That one game was last month where he put up 30 and 15 against Dwight Powell and whatever other center Dallas wants to run out there to try and stop him. So he's been pretty aggressive as of late with LeBron not being able to play. I would think that he can surpass this 40.5 pretty easy. And you don't worry about him coming out unless it's due to injury, simply because the game where it's priced at 4.5, you expect a competitive game, not a blowout really here. If that were to happen, it might change things. But I'm going to take Anthony Davis points and rebounds up and over 40.5.
Boom! Needs to come out here and dominate there for the Lakers. So there you go, guys. To recap it one more time for you, we have got Houston in the house. Andy Lang going with the Rockets, who are quietly on quite the ATS streak right now. He'll grab those 5.5 points, though, against New Orleans. His best bet is going to be Rozier tonight, over 9.5 boards and assists here for Charlotte, while Merrill, he's looking at Portland here, +6 tonight, but his best bet is going to be the Cleveland Cavaliers. Lay the 5 with Cleveland. Expect them to get it done here tonight. While Vino, Minnesota taking on Chicago. He'll take the 2.5 points, but his best bet is going to involve, well, a big night from Anthony Davis. 40.5 points and rebounds. Expect him to dominate here against Dallas, while the contrarian gods, well, they're going to go with them Dallas Mavericks, +4.5 here against the Lakers. And once again, guys, head over to WagerTalk.com right now. Visit Andy Lang. The latest and greatest in the world of dart plays you will have there. You got a little women's college basketball. I mean, a little something for everyone. Those tickets still cash the same. Visit Andy at his page. Steve Merrill, of course, he told you all weekend long. The best bets will be rolling on the hardwood, and same with Rob Vino. He is ready to go also this weekend, guys. Huge, and I mean huge, sports betting weekend. Partner up with these three guys now over at WagerTalk.com. And that'll wrap it up. Big week here in the association. Much more still to come here, as next week we'll have Sweet 16, but we are getting that much closer, guys, to the end of the regular season here in the association. Much still to be determined. So come back and join us on Monday. We'll start the week all over again. On behalf of Andy, RR1L Merrill, and Rob Vino, appreciate the time, guys. Best of luck with all the plays tonight and this weekend. We'll talk to you again on Monday. Good luck.
Play ball. Hot off the press, handicappers from WagerTalk, Sports Memo, and the Gold Sheet have collaborated on the 2023 WagerTalk Media MLB Betting Guide. From World Series odds to regular season win totals and everything in between, this year's betting guide features previews on all 30 teams, all 6 divisions, and season-long awards like the Cy Young, MVP, and Rookie of the Year. Each preview contains key roster acquisitions and departures to help you get up to speed before opening day. Visit WT.buzz/MLB23 to download your free guide, and we'll see you in the batter's box.